They didn't defeat him while he was alive. They killed him, and that is exactly how he won. A young boy stood in front of a king. An entire crowd watched in silence. An arrow was raised towards him, and in a single moment, his life ended. But something happened right after, something the king never expected. The people didn't panic, they didn't run away, they spoke, and with one sentence, everything changed. This was a kingdom built on control. The king didn't just rule over land, he ruled over what people believed. He wanted obedience without question. He wanted people to accept whatever he said as truth. And to maintain that control, he relied on a magician, a man trained to create powerful illusions, a man who could make falsehood look real. And over time, people stopped questioning anything, because when illusion becomes normal, truth feels strange. But the magician grew older, his strength faded, and before he died, he made one final request. He asked the king to send him a boy, someone young enough to learn everything, someone who could continue what he started. So the king agreed without hesitation, because system built on control cannot be allowed to end. So the boy was chosen, young, unaware, and very innocent. He began his journey towards the palace. Every day, he walked the same road, the same path, and the same routine, until one day something changed. On the road, he saw a man sitting alone. He was calm, still, and completely unafraid. A man who didn't look like the others. This man was a monk. He didn't speak with tricks. He didn't rely on illusions. He spoke about God. A truth that didn't need to be performed, but a truth that only needed to be believed. The boy stopped and listened to this monk. Then he came back the next day and the day after that. And slowly, something inside the boy began to change. He was no longer just a student of magic. He was searching for something real. But this created a problem, because he was late to the magician. He was late going home, and every day he was punished severely. And it was not because of what he did, but because of what he was becoming. Now the boy was living two lives, one built on illusion and one built on truth. And deep inside, he knew something. Both could not be right. Then one day, everything came to a stop. A massive beast blocked the road. People stood frozen in fear. No one dared to move. The boy stepped forward, not to fight, but to decide. So he picked up a stone, and for the first time, he made a choice. Not based on what he was taught, but based on what he believed. He said, "If the truth is with the man, then let this beast die." So he threw the stone. The beast collapsed instantly. No struggle, no resistance, just silence. And in that silence, everything became clear. From that moment, the boy changed completely. People began to go to him, the sick, the blind, the desperate, and he told them something simple. It is not me who heals you, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they were cured. Word began to spread, quietly at first, and then it began to spread everywhere, until it reached someone close to the king, a man who had lost his sight. The man came to the boy, hoping for a cure, but the boy told him, "Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you will be healed." The man believed and he saw again. But when he returned to the palace, the king noticed and he asked him, "Who restored your sight?" The man replied, "My Lord did." The king said, "But I am your Lord." The man said, "No, Allah is my Lord." That sentence changed everything, because control depends on silence, and now someone had spoken. The man was tortured until he revealed the boy, and now the king understood this was not just a boy, this was a threat. So the king ordered his execution. He was taken to the top of a mountain. The soldiers prepared to throw him off, but before they could, the boy made a dua. The ground shook. The soldiers lost their balance and they fell instead. The boy, he walked away, alive and unharmed. So they tried again, but this time they took him to the sea. The waves rose violently. The boat began to break apart. The soldiers drowned, and once again the boy returned alive and unharmed. Now at this point, the king still had power, but he was losing control. So the boy did something unexpected. He walked back to the palace to the king, and he said, "You will never be able to kill me unless you do it my way." The king listened. So the boy said, "Gather all the people, tie me to a tree, take an arrow and say this, 'In the name of the Lord of the boy,' and then you shoot." So the king did exactly that. The people gathered, the boy was tied, the arrow was released, the king said the exact words and released it. The arrow struck the boy and he died. For a moment, there was silence. Then something shifted. The people spoke. "We believe in the Lord of the boy. We believe in the Lord of the boy. We believe in the Lord of the boy." In that moment, the king lost everything. Not his throne, not his army, but his control. He didn't defeat the boy while he was alive. He defeated him the moment he died.